Welcome everyone to the Society of Thoracic Surgeons Congenital Heart Surgery Database User Group call. Today is Tuesday, August the 2nd, 2022. So thank you everybody for joining. On the call with me today, let's see here, we have a nice group today. We have myself and Carol Crone, Dr. Meyer, Addie, Chsd, Emily, Dr. Jacobs, Leslie, and Melinda and Janet for the STS and core group side. And then from our IQVIA team, we have Joe, Jean, Melanie, Madri, and Michelle. So thank you everybody for joining today. Greatly appreciate it. As far as today's user group call goes, I don't have a lot of new information. We just had a call a couple of weeks ago, so I really don't have a lot of new information to share from since our last call. Again, I'll just give a super brief STS update and then a quick update on AQO, and then IQVIA will provide their update, and then we'll just finish up with any questions that you all may have. So again, not a lot of new information from last week. In regards to our STS updates, we do have the August training manual has been posted, so that is available for you all out on the STS website. As you are aware, the 2021 harvest is available and is out on the STS website. Notification was sent regarding those reports back on July the 18th. And again, any report-related questions I see, we've had some questions come in, and those should be directed to chsd tech support at IQVIA.com. So we do appreciate you guys sending those questions directly to tech support. And as always, they get routed up to Tier 2 and over to STS and DCRI as needed. 2022 harvest update for anyone who has not heard yet, but I think everyone is caught up to date. The task force did make that decision to only conduct the fall 22 harvest for 2022. And that will include OR dates up through June 30th of 2022. This harvest is scheduled to close on September the 16th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. So be sure to get those files in prior to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. The snapshot of the data will be taken shortly thereafter. So again, we do encourage you to submit your data early and often and get that in prior to September 16th, if possible. The last date to opt out of the harvest is September the 20th. And just a quick reminder, I know we've covered this on numerous webinars in the past, and they are recorded and posted out on the STS website. But the updated stat scores are going to be implemented in this fall 22 harvest. And again, those updated stat scores will be applied to the entire reporting period. So they will be applied to OR dates of July 1, 2018 through June 30th of 2022. Next, we have our public reporting update. Again, the website is slated to be updated by the end of this month. And again, we'll utilize results from the fall 21 harvest, so that harvest report that was just released. If you have any questions about public reporting, please reach out to Sydney Clinton, and her email is listed here on the screen. So again, if you have any questions regarding public reporting permissions or website updates or anything public reporting related, please reach out to Sydney as she is able to answer all those questions for you. Also, the 2022 audit is underway, so sites that were selected were sent an email notification to to their primary data and file contact as well as the surgeon representative. So again, that 2022 audit is underway. If you have any questions if you are a site that was selected and you have any questions about your audit, if you could reach out to CRS directly, and Angie and her team can help you with those audit related questions. Also, if you have not been selected for an audit and curious about the process, or you can go out to the STS website and actually, let me show you where that's located for anyone who might be new, because I know we do have some new data managers attending today's webinar. So let me pull this over real quick. So if you go out to the STS website, click on registries, STS National Database, and from the STS National Database homepage, if you just scroll all the way down and go to important resources. We have the link here for audits. Click on our audits, and then you can access each database audit page. We have adult cardiac, congenital, general thoracic, intermax, and pedimax. So you can just click on our congenital button, and here you'll find the introduction letter from CRS, the audit process video, and other information for the audit. So all of that information can be found out on the STS website. Let's see here. Also, as you all, I've presented this before, but again, just quick refresher, October 26th through the 28th, we have AQO. We'll be in Providence, Rhode Island. Registration is open, and our early bird pricing is available up through Friday, August the 26th. So if you are able, we would love to see you guys in person. If you are unable to attend in person, we have our prices here for our in-person pricing versus our virtual pass pricing. So again, at this time, standard for our virtual pass pricing is $300 for STS members. For STS non-members, that virtual price is $400. And as well, we have the costs here for 1 track, 2 tracks, and then multi-day tracks for STS members versus STS non-members. And again, this slide, again, just you guys have seen this plenty of times. It just represents what the in-person meeting will offer versus the virtual pass. Of course, those that are not able to attend in person, the virtual pass option, again, the key thing to remember here is this will not be a live streaming event. The in-person sessions will be recorded, and all of that content will be available to you mid-November. On-demand content will be available to our in-person as well as our virtual attendees in mid-October. So you will have the on-demand content available to you in mid-October. And again, the recordings of our live sessions will be available to our virtual attendees in mid-November. Also, for the virtual attendees, since they were not able to attend, we will be bringing back our speakers post-AQO, and I think we're probably looking at that. I think maybe in January, we're going to have our AQO Hot Topics webinar. So everyone will be invited back to the Hot Topics webinar. So again, those that were not able to attend in person can ask questions to our presenters live on the webinar. So you can have that one-on-one interaction with our speakers and ask questions and get answers. So again, we do encourage you to look out for that Hot Topics webinar. More information about all of this will be coming soon from our STS meetings and marketing team. So again, this slide again just shows you what you get versus in-person versus the virtual pass. And we're really super excited to see everyone that is able to join us in person this year. Of course, if you are attending in person, we encourage you to reserve your room sooner rather than later. We do have STS does have a block of rooms on reserve at the Omni Providence Hotel with a group rate. So that group rate, again, is guaranteed through Tuesday, October 4th until we sell out. So again, I encourage you to reserve your room as soon as possible and get registered as soon as possible. Just to give you a brief idea on some of the topics for AQO this year, our agenda has been just about finalized. We have some presentations on the STS upgrade project, audit, single ventricle, coding of wound infections, a presentation on TGA, congenitally corrected TGA and their subtypes. We'll have a presentation on the volume project by Dr. Pasquale, presentations from our data managers on how to use your data for everyday practice, version upgrade. Dr. Morgan Brown is going to give a presentation on anesthesia, going to kind of give us a presentation and give us some insight on what is being done with that data locally and nationally, how the data is being utilized, what projects are currently being used with the data. We're also going to have a presentation on morbidity. We'll have some case scenarios for you guys. We are also going to have a presentation by our Chair of National Databases, Workforce on National Databases, Dr. Felix Fernandez. He's going to be providing a presentation on 30-day mortality. And then following Dr. Fernandez's presentation, one of your colleagues, Nicole Palmon, is going to be giving a presentation on 30-day follow-up and the process that she uses at her institution. So she's going to be sharing that with us all. So we're really looking forward to McCall's presentation. And again, we'll also have case scenarios for adults with congenital heart disease. And those are just a few, there's just a few ideas and some, so you have an idea of on some of our agenda items for this year's AQO. So we're really looking forward to it. And again, we hope you are able to attend in person, but obviously we understand if you are not able, we'd love to have you join us virtually as well. So again, we are looking forward to AQO this year. So that is all that I have for STS updates. Let me see, make sure I am not missing anything at this time, but I'm going to turn things over to Joe. I think he has a brief IQVIA update for us. Joe?
Yep, thanks, Leanne. Good afternoon, everyone. So just a few updates. These are items that have been fixed and deployed to production. So you will see these things hopefully working properly now, starting with for the risk adjusted report, STS 8576. What was happening was there was an error on table 1 and 7 when trying to select a result on the report that would say could not load on-demand data for table X case list. That should now be resolved and no longer affecting you. Then in regard to the upload, STS 8555, it had been displaying a critical error for records that had a surgery date on or after July 1st, 2022. Which said the core date does not match any form version. That should now be resolved and you should be able to successfully upload your records from July 1st onward. And then in regard to the risk adjusted report again, 8578, when printing or exporting that report to the PDF, the STS aggregate columns for tables 1 and 18 were being pushed onto a second page, which was not expected. And so that has been resolved. Those should now appear on the same page. So if you wanted to re-export any of those to get that table aligned properly, that should work for you now. And then one item that we did want to bring to your attention that we are working on, STS 8510 in regard to the participant or non-analyzed dashboard. For that report, there is an option to filter by stat category when you're setting up your report parameters. We are working to update that filter to reflect the latest changes to Appendix C. So if you are using that filter, just be advised that we are working to get that updated. And I think that's all. Yep. So if you did have a ticket that you wanted an update on, please send us an email and we can look into that for you. We'll be posting any information to the notifications section once we get some releases out for you.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much, Joe. I appreciate it. Okie dokie. Again, you guys have seen these ending slides. But if you have any report-related questions, again, just reach out to CHSD tech support at IQVIA.com, and STS and DCR will be looped in as needed when tickets are escalated to Tier 2. Again, my contact information, you all are very familiar. If you have any questions at all, please email me at ljones@sts.org. If you have questions, if you have need to get someone access to your reports within the IQVIA platform or deactivate user accounts, please complete the STS participant contact form out on the STS website. If you have any questions about that form or completing that form, or have any questions about the contacts currently listed for your site or participation agreement questions, reach out to us at stsdb@sts.org. Also wanted to point out our upcoming CHSD webinars. Our next user group call is scheduled for September 6th, and our next monthly webinar is August 16th, followed by the next one on September 20th. We also do have a new data manager webinar coming up this month, and that's going to be on August the 25th at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So I know we do have some new data managers, and this data manager webinar, we're going to go into a little more little more workflow, I guess, types of items. Leslie is going to be doing a presentation, doing a little walkthrough, live demo of the harvest harvest tools that are available to you, how to clean up your data, make sure your using the tools properly and know what the tools are and how and what they're available, best way to utilize those tools. So again, that will be presented on our new data manager webinar. And also, just be sure and tune in for the user group call September 6th, right before the close of the harvest. We'll be answering any questions that you have about, harvest cleanup. So again, encourage you to attend that user group call on September the 6th. And again, for our new data managers, that August 25th webinar will be very helpful for our new data manager webinars, for our new data managers. As usual, that webinar will be recorded if you're not able to make it, so it will be posted out on the STS website. So if you're not able to make that new data manager webinar, it will be recorded and available to view later. All right, so that is all that I have for now. So we're going to turn things over to you all. If you have any questions, please feel free to submit your questions via the Q&A. And also, if you have any questions, be sure and put those into the Q&A, not the chat. That way I don't have to kind of flip-flop back and forth. But yeah, if you could just put those questions into the chat, that would be super helpful. But yeah, if you have any questions, please put those into the Q&A. If you have any questions about upcoming harvest close, about the spring, about the fall 22 harvest, now is a good time to ask those. We'll answer as many questions as you guys have. Or if anyone has anything they want to cover that I may have missed. Carol, Chsd, anyone? Here's a question for, okay, from Elizabeth. IQVIA, any target date for the release of the stat category update Appendix C for the non-analyzed dashboard? Will it be prior to the harvest close? And I don't know.
I can answer. This is Melanie.
Yeah.
I can answer. That's currently in development. We don't have a target date as yet, but as soon as we have further information, we will be posting it to the notifications to basically give a heads up to the data managers.
Right. Thank you, Melanie. And Beth, we can definitely continue to provide, update on the next webinar and let you know how things are going. So IQVIA is working on it as quickly as they can. So thank you for asking. And let's see here. I don't see any additional questions. Everyone's very quiet today. Any harvest related questions? Harvest close coming up. I did want to point out, I know in the past, in the last harvest report, there were some participants that did not receive risk adjusted results due to not meeting certain thresholds, the 2% mortality threshold, as well as not meeting the risk model, the 10% threshold regarding the risk model variables, non-cardiac abnormalities, syndromes, prematurity, those variables. Obviously, it's not our goal to have sites excluded from from analysis. We want to have as many participants as possible included in analysis. And, we have the tools available for you all to clean up your data, but a couple of weeks prior to the harvest close, we're going to start, STS and IQVIA is going to start looking at the data and currently in the data warehouse and reach out to those participants that we see that may be a little bit close to the thresholds or maybe even over the thresholds to give you kind of a warning to say, hey, it's looking like, at this time, your site's got about, 50% missing for non-cardiac abnormalities. Just want to give you a heads up so you can take a look at it. But again, so this is something that STS is going to be implementing moving forward. So again, a couple of weeks prior to the harvest close, we're going to start looking at the data internally as it is currently in the warehouse and start reaching out to sites that we think, are at risk of possibly being excluded due to thresholds for mortality as well as the risk model variable. So just wanted to bring that to your attention. Carol, did you have anything to add?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right. I don't know, Melody, Can't postpone because I think I think somebody's answering, working with Melody on her questions. Sorry, Melody, I don't understand. Wasn't following the questions. Oh, regarding the STS public reporting notification. Okay. Yeah, I think Sydney would be the best to answer those questions regarding public reporting, as Sydney and her team handle all of that aspect. So I'm not sure. I don't want to tell you anything incorrectly, but if you could reach out to Sydney directly, she would be able to address those questions regarding those public reporting communications and consent deadlines and things of that nature. So she'd be happy to help, though, if you could just get in touch with her directly. This is not publicly announced for programs to submit consent. Carol, do you have any input or any ideas on the public reporting deadlines that
I'm pretty certain that notification went out, but I think the best, I don't want to speak on behalf of Sydney, so the best thing to do is to reach out to Sydney Clinton. Right.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Melody. Like I said, Carol and I, we don't handle the public reporting email notifications and things like that. But again, that's something that Sydney and Jane would handle on her end.
The email did go out on February 18th, or at least I have it in the STS National Database News.
Okay, thank you. And I'm sure I have it in my Melody. If you'd like for me to forward you that email, I can do that. I'll add in my inbox. Thank you, Chastity. Okay. Yes, ma'am, I will do that. Okay. I don't see any additional questions. This might be a super short call today. Maggie, is there a diagnosis code for a superficial sternal infection? She uses the short list.
Yeah, I have an email that went out on February 18th regarding public reporting.
Yeah. Melody, could you put your email address in the, if you want to email me directly, that would be great. I'm going to put my email in the chat, and then that way we could just forward that notification on to you.
I'll send it over to you, Leanne, so you can send it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Carol. Okay, Sherry, you reached out to me. Okay. Missing data on the most recent report. Okay, let me go through my emails. Sherry, I'll follow up with you right after this call. So I must have gotten buried in my inbox, so I apologize. No problem. I will follow up with you right after this call. I thought I'd followed up with everyone, so I apologize. Okay. And all right. Don't see any additional questions. All right. Okay. Well, I guess we'll have a super short call today. Again, I know we didn't have a lot of information. We just had our call a couple of weeks ago, but if anything does arise between now and our next call, again, please feel free to reach out to me. Sherry, I'm going to follow up with you right after this call. But again, just to emphasize our upcoming user group call on September 6th, right before the harvest close. Again, we really do encourage you to attend that call. If you have any questions about your harvest cleanup prior to harvest close, again, please reach out to us or attend that user group call, get your questions answered. And again, a new data manager webinar scheduled for August the 25th.